This chair today is going to be our project. I used Sweet Pickin's milk paint in 3 different colors, just a few samples to create a whole new look. Layered, chippy, textured, and even using the squirt bottle. Follow along and hope you enjoy. So I have no idea what I'm doing. Disclaimer. I mixed up some Sweet Pickin's milk paint, sample size of in a pickle, and it's actually in a pickle in a pepper jar. I always save all my jars. And I'm just gonna randomly, I put a little bit of extra bond because I'm going to layer over the top of this and I really want this to stick. I'm just gonna kind of randomly brush this on here, let it dry, seal over it, and then I'll put another color and another color, and we're just gonna play today and see if it turns out fun. One of the things I learned at boot camp was I enjoy brushing furniture. It's not something I do a lot. When I'm in production mode, I use the paint sprayer because it's more efficient. But there's just something about feeling the paint move through your hand and go on your canvas, whatever it is, furniture, art, a chair. It's therapeutic, you know? And the nice thing about milk paint is you can paint over this leather. I've done it before and it gives a really cool effect. I want it to kind of drip a little, which is something I normally don't want it to do, so I've got a drip there, but I'm totally just gonna leave that. So this drip is totally on purpose. I want to leave it because I want to get a real old world look. The next step is I'm using Moody Blue before this in a pickle dries. This is also Sweet Pickin's, and I'm layering this on there. I didn't add any extra bond because the first coat already has extra bond in it, so you don't need more extra bond in your subsequent coats. And then the final coat, I'm going to fill in all the gaps, and hopefully that's where it will chip off and look awesome. I want to do it before it's dry so that way the colors kind of blend together. And I'm just layering it on here. I'm not really sure what it's going to turn into, but we'll find out. You're seeing it here first. I learned how to do this at boot camp, but I did it with DIY clay paint, which you'll be seeing more of pretty soon. But I wanted to try it with milk paint, so here I am seeing what happens when you do it with milk paint and what effect you get. You really want to soak it down, or at least that's what we did in class.
And you didn't let the paint dry, right?
No, you want the paint to still be wet while you're doing this. It kind of blurs the colors together. And when it dries, I'm going to do something a little different. My third color, I'm going to wait till it's all the way dry. And then I'm going to get my third color on here. So this is out of order. In my workshop, we did all 3 colors, then the water, then the putty knife. But I'm doing a little different. So I did 2 colors, then the water, and you really want to soak it down. And while it's wet, I'm taking my dirty old putty knife. I'm just coming back through and just adding texture and blending those colors. What I think will be my last color is Sweet Pickin's in the sweet water. I don't know because I've never done this before, so we'll see what happens. In class, we did the lighter color when it was all wet and they kind of mixed together, but I'm more of a farmhouse style, so I'm trying to adapt what I learned with my style point of view. So I'm going to add on this lighter color, and I think I'm just going to do it in the middle areas. I don't want this one to blend as much. I don't have any extra bond. I did lighten it up a little with Sweet Pickin's Creamy because I wanted it to be almost...
Are you going to spray that again or buff it off?
I think I'm going to spray it again.
Because you're hiding all the blue.
I know, but it'll come back. I can wet distress. If enough doesn't chip off on its own, which is what milk paint likes to do, I can take a damp rag and wet distress. If I can get it to drip over the edge.
There it goes.
Blur the lines here.
You didn't want that much blurring?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just playing. You know, just picking up a paintbrush and playing and seeing what happens. I may totally hate it and drop it off at the DI. Somebody there can love it, but you never know unless you try, right?
Well, not messy. Don't make a mess.
So I stepped away to start editing, and Jami just whipped these out without telling me, so I didn't get a chance to film them because A, she hates how long it takes to, well, I won't say that.
I hate how long it takes to stop and start, and I'm getting junk out of the garage, and I hate wasting paint. Milk paint only has like a certain shelf life, so whenever I'm done with one project, I like to finish it out. Like I literally, by the time I'm done, I will have painted all of this with the equivalent of 3 samples of milk paint. When you do this technique with water, it really stretches out the paint. But on the metal ones, I didn't use the water. I wanted the brush strokes in there, and I just started with the light color and then went back through with the dark color just on the edges and kind of drug it through the paint.
So this is what these looked like before. They were just rusty old metal, just some cabinets out of a shop.
So I still have yet to put any makeup on today, so you're getting Jami Ray unfiltered here. Or I don't even know if I brushed my hair, but I did brush my teeth, so we're good. Milk paint really sticks well to metal, so that's why I used it on these metal things, and I'm using it on this candlestick. It adheres really well, and
It's a lamp.
What is this?
It's a lamp.
Oh.
You called it a candlestick.
On this metal lamp here, it adheres really well. So I've got the last color I have left over is in a pickle, and so we wiped it off, and I'm just coming through, and they'll probably take 2 coats, and I'm gonna paint this whole lamp, and we'll see what it looks like. I think it's a great color for fall, but if for some reason it sticks around the shop for a while, it's also a great Christmas color. It's in a pickle.
Are we going to do a skeleton shade on that?
Yeah, we'll do an Edison bulb and a skeleton shade on it because that's kind of my favorite thing to do.
We'll show you how to do the skeleton shade. I think we've got some shades that we can tear down. We basically just take all the fabric or whatever covering is on them and leave them just the raw wire frame for the metal.
Yeah, they're like, how can you do so many projects? Well, when one thing is drying, I'm painting something else. I get to spend the afternoon doing unfun stuff like taxes and admin stuff, so it's always nice when you can paint a little and then you get you geared up to do the stuff you don't want to do. The thing about Sweet Pickin's milk paint is it chips and crackles kind of where it wants, and you can see we're getting some of that happening here. And this is exactly what I want to happen. If you're using another kind of paint, it's not going to happen to it, and that's fine. But I wanted a really old, like, textured finish. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to sand this all and smooth it out and see what happens. We'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So I'm not getting enough paint off sanding, and so I'm going to show you a little bit of a wet distress. Chalky and milk type paints, generally all of them, no matter what you're using, you can wet distress them and it will take the paint off. Before you've sealed it, it's water soluble. So this milk paint here, I'm going to kind of just bring back what's underneath, and I really want these nail heads to show better. So if I'm just going to go over them with this damp rag, can you see how that's coming out there? It also really smooths the paint out. I love that. Be careful not to take off too much. But just kind of go over your piece and pull back some of that paint. So I have a damp rag here, and my milk paint in a pickle from Sweet Pickins has dried, and I'm just going over my surface with this damp rag and doing what's called a wet distress. You kind of got to give it a little elbow grease, and then you can see that I'm taking the paint off. If I was to use an orbital sander on this, it would go straight through the metal and you would get like a shiny spot, and I don't want that. I just want the paint to come off and the metal to show underneath. This lampshade is going to become the skeleton shade for the lamp that I just painted. There's really no rhyme or reason when you're picking one, except for you want to make sure that it's not just like that plastic. There's actual bones that go all the way down and connect the top to the bottom. It makes for an interesting piece when it's been removed. So you kind of just get in here, start cutting, and rip it off. Every one is different. It's just that simple. It takes a little bit of elbow grease. If you're not strong enough to get it off, just find somebody that is, and as long as it's all connected and you don't break apart these metal pieces, you're good to go. So we're gonna find a harp which will connect this to this, put an Edison bulb in there, and we're good. You can leave it just like this, or to add texture, you can rip up fabric or lace and tie it top to bottom all the way around. I like to leave mine a little bit more plain and simple. It's my style. But then if people take it home, they can create whatever they want with it.
I went and dug around in the garage and found a harp off of another lamp. So it is going to now be part of this lamp. Okay, so that's on there pretty good.
Good job, little buddy.
I know. I'm working hard for the money today. I'm just finding things.
Find me an Edison bulb. If you've been watching me for any length of time, you know that I'm a polyacrylic girl all the way. But there's more than one way to skin a cat. So today I'm going to be using wax on this chair, mostly because I want a nice matte finish. And wax is a great way to get that. It's a little bit more labor intensive, but I've been touching on this chair a lot, so a little more won't kill me. This soft wax you can find on our website. I carry wax by Fairy Chalk Mother and Sweet Pickins. They both work great. And I'm just taking this wax brush, my stubby wax brush, and I'm just lightly going over the piece. Once I get it on the entire piece, then I'll come back through and buff it one more time. All right, after layers and layers of paint and waxing, my wax is sat here, and now I'm just gonna buff it in. I'm just taking a rag and I'm just going over it and really working that wax into my piece. This is probably why I don't wax a lot, because it takes a lot of labor.
I'm tired. This is my contribution to the video. Right there. That's what I did.
Good job, Zeb. I'm not sure if that chair was made for you. Okay, so today I used milk paint. I used a brush. I did a technique that I've never done before with milk paint. It's kind of a blended layered technique. It's kind of chippy, kind of fun, definitely not my norm, but something I enjoy. When I need therapy, I use my paintbrush. What do you do when you need to relax? Comment below and let me know. Also, what are some finishes you guys would like me to do? I'm happy to help and try new things. I can't say I'll be perfect, but I'll do my best. Be sure to stay tuned, because you're going to get all the close-ups of the projects we did today. Go to Jami Ray Vintage to buy the paint I used. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more DIY.